welcome everybody to the Four Horsemen podcast. We're back and we are riding hard today. Welcome, gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Living the dream, they tell me.
Please,
day
somebody
in paradise.
wake me up from this nightmare.
We blew nothing up in Texas. I'm quite happy about that.
I'm glad to hear
The
that.
day's not over yet, Pete.
Ah, man, they set a drilling rig on fire like 2 days ago. Clearly that was not in the plan that weekend, but lo and behold.
Welcome in everybody in the chat. Good to see y'all. Hope y'all are doing well. Bad Bobber's in the building. Michelle PW. Good to see you. Blue Butterfly.
I don't like that bad bobber guy. When he played at the Super Bowl, he really should have sung in English. Bad bobber.
I didn't understand him. I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, this is what I heard. And then Ricky Martin came on, and his voice just boomed. And I'm like, damn, he's an old dog, and he could sing. And then Bugs Bunny came back, and I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
My wife's Mexican. She's sitting next to me going, I don't understand what the hell he's saying either. I'm like,
well, I didn't watch it, so who cares?
I was talking about the guy in the comments, but anyway.
That's true. That's very true.
But is the guy in the comments the guy in the Super Bowl?
That's why I had to put it out there, on the off chance that it's him using some alias, also known as thing. Like, I just needed it to have been said. This way I couldn't say, I didn't tell you.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. You learn something new every day. Keep watching our stream, and you'll learn something new, whether it's true or not.
All right, now that we lost all the losers, let's get actually into it.
Okay. All right.
Well played, Livingston, man. Well played.
Well played.
Like
Well
your
played.
style.
Yes, I like your style. So,
It's Carhartt. I get it at the hardware store.
That's awesome.
tonight's question. It's your fault, Mike. It's your fault.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have never sent that text, I wouldn't have jumped in this rabbit hole. So,
Done did it now.
with the looming war between the U.S. and Iran. Yeah, bingo cards ready. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
With the looming war, how will Americans handle an attack on the home front?
Oof.
That is the topic for tonight. And anything else we want to discuss related. Rule 2IC, welcome in, my brother. Thank you for having my six, always.
So this brings me back to some conversations that we had with prepping with Sarge once upon a time about the human reflex to things. If fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Which is where you just that's going to be everybody's typical response. One of those is going to happen to them. At what level of which that happens to you is yet to be seen, pending what comes of this. You know, that this could take on many different iterations, right? This could be cyber. This could be kinetic. This could be it could be missile strikes. You know, who knows? Well, listen, it's 2026. We're past the unprecedented times, and now we're into holy shit, did that really just happen times. I think every year it's been ratcheted up a little bit more, right? A little more polarizing, a little more crazy, a little more wild. So why should this be any different, right? It's just going to continue to ramp up. And I'd like to say that I would see what we saw during 9/11, right? The unity of Americans behind a common cause, America. At that moment, we were all Americans. Even if you just stepped foot in the United States, you were like, screw every other country. I'm an American now. I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here. I don't know.
It goes to what kind of American are you? Is exactly where it fucking goes, and we all know it.
So, do you think it'll sway?
It will absolutely polarize the nation completely. Where you talk about this
50-50 divide.
You talked about this. It's unbelievable that I'm going to use the words utopian and 9/11 in the same sentence, but that utopian, like we're all Americans thing that came out of that, it was a unifying thing. The next one is not going to be that. The next one is going to be the fucking kaboom. Because everybody got to talk some shit and take some side on the media and get themselves all riled up in real life over some shit that they was popping with their thumbs through the cell phone. And that's exactly what's going to happen. 9/11 times 2026, whatever that number is.
Big, real big.
Yeah, I don't see any other way. Would you think everybody going to run out in the streets and start hugging each other?
No. But seeing everybody kind of, I think you're probably right, Livingston, man. I think it's going to, it's going to unblur the line between what, like you said, what kind of American are you?
That guy, I didn't even see that movie, but when that dude said that shit, I was like, yo, that's the future right there. That's the boot on your face forever that Orwell was sort of alluding to. That constant question, what side of the fence are you on, essentially?
So it's in the way that you put it, Livingston, man, it's almost as if this is needed to just end all this shit, right? Like an attack on the homeland is needed to solidify the side on which you stand on. The human nature, the dehumanization is complete, right? Everybody already, you're not a human. You're a Republican, or you're a Democrat, or you're a liberal, or you're a MAGA supporter. Yeah. You're not a human. You're that thing, right? And now all they need is that divide and say either if you're against this, then that's it. This could be a foreign strike could be the match that ignites the tinderbox that is America. 100%, bro. And you got
a loud third party who's saying it wasn't either side, it was somebody else there. Of course, you'll have the false flag fucking crowd. And the flat earth crowd shows up, and it's just
flat earth. Just random.
Ping pong, Jeffrey Epstein. They putting the fucking red fucking tape on the shit.
What about a flat Epstein? Can we do that?
A flat Epstein theory? Y'all are basic. You know about that. You don't even know about the flat Epstein theory. Thank you for bringing that up, Pete.
I will bring that up.
The ones know. See, Horsemen.
Somebody is going to walk into this chat tomorrow and go, "What the hell are they doing?"
They can start looking up flat Epstein. It's going to become a thing.
I think Livingston, man, has changed my mind. I think we will see the complete and total division of America right down the middle, 50-50. I think that will be America's reaction to...
wouldn't that be the goal of the ones who don't like this fragile republic we have, imperfect as it may be?
There's the false flag crowd. There he is.
I'm telling you, just collapse it all.
Yeah,
they vary, though, depending on where you are. Where we are out here, there's a lot of outdoorsy folks, a lot of technical people. We'd be like, well, we got a welder and a mechanic in the subdivision, and that guy's a cop, and he's a helicopter pilot, so we can figure something out, and then you could have like Manhattan, where it's just, what happened to Mike?
You'll see this sort of, you would talk about this in terms of like a government versus like private sector. Yeah. Is like in a government or a societal breakdown or fracture, you'll see like what we essentially call the rise of private sector. The people who already know how to do this stuff and have the stuff to do it will probably continue to do it given the means that they have. I would figure, like to Pete's point, a helicopter pilot doesn't just forget how to fly a helicopter.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the real world skills are going to translate, and it's not going to be this thunderclap. It's not going to be like we found ourselves in the desert with bullshit. It's more like, this sucks. This apocalypse is taking forever. Let's do this already. For fuck's sake, dude. Us horsemen, we're not here for a good time. We're here for a long time, okay?
Yeah.
Bear with us. We'll get the job done. Mike, now we can't hear you.
Nope.
Mike's saying bad words, I think.
He is.
Goddamn FCC blurred him out. I didn't know they was on YouTube.
Yeah, they did. They got him.
man.
So what do you think, Pete?
Shoot, I think it'll depend on where you are. I think you're going to see the local culture varies. So places like Portland will go one way, whereas, say, Dallas will go the completely different way, politically speaking. What scares me is not the political, it's the criminal element, right? Because if something horrendous happens, let's just assume people are generally rational, regardless of who they voted for in the last election. They're going to say, wow, this is really bad. You know what? We need to not fight about Trump and Biden. We need to make sure our kids are fed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the criminal element doesn't care. They'll be like, oh, look, the cops and the National Guard are distracted. Let's go cause some shit. Those are the guys that really scare the hell out of me. Now, some of them live in the area, so they'll be like, hey, we don't do that in my town. Go do it somewhere else. You might see that wild card of criminality, and that makes it really hard. That would muddy the waters.
Yep.
But I do think it varies where you live. You live out in the country where the local motorcycle gang and the local cartel chapter, their kids go to these schools. I absolutely could see the sheriff saying, look, we're all stuck in this together, so we can fight with each other, protect our kids. But you might have a totally different dynamic in Chicago. Whereas people in Ohio will go town by town and protect their little subdivisions and towns. I think it won't be cookie cutter across the country. I think it'll be very different depending where you live. People in Portland versus in the countryside of Oregon and Washington State, totally different.
Oh yeah, big time.
So
is
where
this
you
thing
are,
on?
yeah, you're on. We can hear you.
We got Ron.
That was easy.
Oh, you couldn't hear me because my shit was muted.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Pete. I think it's going to go based on where you live. What's going to happen? Some major cities may implode.
Now we're talking about what do you want to call crime? Now, given the circumstance here that we're discussing, you're talking about something, like really catastrophic. I guess we're talking 9/11 level event here. You're going to get that criminal element, and the mind automatically runs to riots and looters and vandals and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then there's also the conditions that exacerbate those. Those are actually the symptom of a sickness. Well, we're price gouging, rationing, poor management skills on the part of providers that. Nobody can be prepared for something like a terrorist attack or even a natural disaster. But at the same time, it's like when everybody just, locks up and gets hard, then shit gets hard and gets blown out of control before everybody chills the fuck out. Yeah. We've seen this time and again. It's human nature to want to help, but not want the horde coming at you either.
I think we're tribal, to your point. We take care of our own. I know the guys on my block. I know who lives on my subdivision. Maybe by face, some of them I know personally. Each of us has our little community, and we're like, okay, we know these are a known quantity. Who the F are you? And there's that discomfort because the rules of law may or may not apply. You don't know how things will go down. You could find a whole new group of friends. You could find the devil. You have a really good point, Livingston.
And not only that, and then we see this time and again with natural disasters, and when like a community or like something bad happens and people need help, is all of a sudden like scammers. So you can point to like I'll call that a cyber attack.
Okay.
Or I'll at least equate it, and I'll stand on
cyber fraud.
Cyber fraud. I'll use the word attack because you're specifically targeting like a vulnerable like population for your own profit, and it's detrimental to their thing. When those the hurricane hit North Carolina and like the hills there, and those people were all fucked up, and FEMA couldn't help them. But then everybody was like, oh, send money. I'm like making fake charities and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The modern age, like the big fucking crime
is on the computer. Yeah.
Being done with these, man.
Yeah.
It's something that, as in this digital age moving forward, if a 9/11 event happened, all this digital shit is going to getting used for like the worst stuff
within the hour.
Yeah.
Within the hour. I absolutely agree.
Heinous and heartless and ugh.
Well, tragedies tend to bring out the best and worst in people, right?
By best, you meant sarcastically.
Well, no. I mean, you saw the worst in people, the scammers online, the people with the jars on the counter that they go and dump in their piggy bank at the end of the day. It's shitty. It's shitty. And then you see the guys with the teams of mules going in to actually pack in food and supplies to these folks who've been stuck, right, who can't be reached by vehicle, right? And then as soon as they get some sort of primitive road, the guys with the real capable four-wheel drives, the overlanders, go in and bring them whatever else they can get them that has to be carried by vehicle. And it really was an effort of the good people, of not just the community, but of America. Because a lot of people gather around when there's a tragedy and go help out. I know Bear Independent has teams that go out and hit the hard hit places, and he just goes and helps, man. He doesn't screw the red tape. Let's get your shit taken care of, and we'll put you in contact with the right people to get you whatever help you need. That's the type of attitude Americans need to have in order for this country to survive. And I am thankful that there are still people like that do the things. Lily Highlander, yes, the Cajun Navy. These groups of people, just when bad things happen, good people rise to the top, right?
Yep.
Especially good people who have good training, right? You've got good quality training. You know how to operate a boat in the worst of conditions. You need that, or you're going to be part of the problem there for the first responders too. So,
and I lived in that part of Louisiana, like in Cajun country. I raised my kids there, and I mean, my neighbors were literally Boudreaux and Thibodeau. And after Hurricane Lily hit us, we were in Lafayette, and once the storms went by, everyone came out. And with chainsaws and ATVs, and we're like, okay, let's check this house. We were all by ourselves in the subdivision on a hill, and everything around us was flooded, so we couldn't go anywhere. And we had 5 or 6 guys went to one house, and a tree limb fell in the garage, and they were cutting it up. Somebody had a damn man lift, and they pulled a branch off, and but it was a very small community, and we all knew each other.
Yeah.
And
private sector filling in where government can't help. It's usually faster, cheaper, and more effective.
Especially when it's personal.
Every time.
Yeah. When it's personal, it's big.
And then it was like a 2-day block party because everyone's like, all the Cajuns were like, oh, I got to cook them shrimp before they get bad.
Before they go bad,
right?
Yo.
And then I come out and they're like, Pete, what you got? I said, I got fajita meat. Oh, I could put it next to the crawfish. Yes, yeah, come on. And then we go out there, and we were drunk for like 24 hours. There were dogs and kids everywhere. But you know what? Nobody got broken into. Not a single house in our little community. Not one.
That's big, man.
There were so many deer rifles and shotguns out there. It was more worried about someone tripping and falling and hurting themselves than crime.
It's good. I don't allow the peasants to have weapons on the manor. Only the LMPD is allowed to carry, period. They can be, posseed up if necessary, but like that shit is issued. You don't get
We
to
need a
bring
patch for that, Mike.
You know what? We don't have crime on the manor because I deal with shit personally. You mess around, you want to like not play by the rules.
Commissar Livingston.
I'm the lord of the manor. I own all this. They just get to live here. And I treat that as such. If you're having a big party, sure, that's fine. This is my house, though, so I'm a flex when I need to, and I do. Easy enough.
Pete, I want to get back to your without rule of law comments earlier. Sorry, I screwed up my mic at the wrong time. I've been doing a lot of research on without rule of law, trying to come up with programs that you can plug into your AI and figure out what the without rule of law percentage is in your area. It's based off of crime stats, court backlogs. There's so much information in it. And the one thing that I've really learned over the years about it is that it's so micro scale.
Yes.
You're absolutely right about that. And it's even smaller, block by block. Yeah. You could turn the corner and be in deep shit, or you could turn the corner and be into some really great people.
It's literally the across the track phenomenon.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense the way
it does. It does. It does.
But for those of you who are wondering, so the four of us have been talking when Hudson Valley did that model of New York by county. And I took his model, put it in a different AI, put it in Grok, and gave it multiple places in Texas that I'm really familiar with. And the calculations weren't unrealistic. Like, I had lived in some of these places. I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
There was a lot of trial and error with it because it kept wanting to. I told it a 0 to 100 scale, so it took that as it had to be 0 to 100. Right. So what I did was I capped the scale for the world that we live in right now. No place is 100% without rule of law. So I capped it at like 65%. I don't think anything here is.
You have some assumptions when you do this stuff.
Yeah. And I wanted it to take as few assumptions as humanly possible. I wanted it.
Bro, if I go to Antarctica and I punch a penguin, what are they going to do? Call cops?
No, they're going to call PETA.
Yeah.
No, the walrus will come and run you off.
Greenpeace.
I'll punch them all, and still nobody gonna call cops. Like
I'll punch a walrus, man. Those are big. They would tear you up, man.
Livingston, Antarctica. Fuck that.
But so the way I have it now is you can enter your county in your state, or multiple counties in your state, and get a general vibe for your area, right? And it will spit out the receipts, when you enter this stuff. I always want it to give me factual information, and it always cites when things are guessed at, or best guess says this is that, but I can't say with 100% certainty. So it always clarifies whether things are factual or not, and I always ask it to provide the receipts for the information. So in my case, it was pulling DCJS crime stats, right? It was pulling violent crime stats. It was pulling rehab stats. It was pulling hospital backlogs. It was pulling court system backlogs. It was pulling population data. What else was it? Response times. Response times was a big one, right? Because that's when if without rule of law is really there or not. When the response times become lengthy, or you dial 911 and nobody answers the phone, you have hit 100% without rule of law, because now nobody is coming to help you.
I would agree on that. That's the definition of that. If there is because the law means nothing without enforcement. If there is no official capacity to enforce so-called law, then there is.
And it's even worse than that, Livingston, man, because it's not just the law at that point. It's any help.
Shit.
Well, no, it's any help. You can't call an ambulance. You can't call a fire truck. You couldn't call a freaking tree guy if a tree fell on your house, because right now there is no rule of law. And some folks experience that in tornadoes and hurricanes and flash floods and things like that as well. And the power vacuum that happens in a place is, from what I've learned over the years of being in preparedness and watching everything happening, is power vacuums are filled immediately by the first person who wants to stand up and has a bigger gun than the next guy who's not willing to stand up.
Right.
So that's how your warlords get built. And you know, Pete, you're 100% right that the worst of the people can come up, and in your case, you had the best of people come up, and nobody got messed with.
No. And again, it's a lot of local. And I promise you, I know there were two guys who were part of an MC of some type or other. I don't know which one, but I'd see them ride off in their bikes with their vests, the cut, and I'm like, you guys are in a crew. Nobody messed with us. There was an off-duty cop lived here, a doctor. People were checking on each other, but again, it's a culture thing and a community thing. Yeah. And I think that will move the needle. And then this is just my opinion from what I've seen. It can be a big needle move. Even if you're in the middle of like Austin or Dallas and you know all the people in your little apartment building, you know, all 10 families, you make a mini community, that little building will rally to itself. It doesn't guarantee safety in the street, but your little building will be safe, right?
Totally.
And
totally.
You know, you guys, Hudson Valley and Livingston in particular, for years, I mean, longer than any of us, you've been building that community up there. I really think if something bad happened, you guys are going to have a dividend.
Yeah. I mean, that's like in my county, we have about 168,000 people that live in my county.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one of the fastest growing counties in the state.
Because there's a highway to hell, brother. Stairway to hell.
Yankee Watchdog says his county is larger than Rhode Island, 800 plus or minus people here. Now, you can get into without rule of law scenarios a lot quicker in a case like Yankee Watchdog is in, because you are so rural, right? You're 40 minutes from the police station. If you called them and they got the call immediately and they were there and they could respond immediately, it's 40 minutes before the law shows up at your door, if you're lucky.
He is like the cop. Everybody's on cop. He's used to
yeah. In places like that, things are handled a lot differently, you know?
But I think that we need to temper this attitude with the fact that like EMTs, firefighters, police, and all these these functionaries of society, they're not just going to disappear. No. They'll all still be here. And we're assuming that they're not going to continue to be the backbone of like fucking America, you know?
So Livingston, man, to your point, I think that a large percentage of those folks are there for their paycheck. And if there was no more paycheck, they would no longer be there. I know for a fact that during the pandemic, the early days of it, as things were starting to close around here, there was a lot of law enforcement officers who drove around with civilian clothes in their car, just in case they had to ditch that thing and walk away from it, because they didn't really know how things were going to go down. And then I think the other side of that coin is you will have the good old boys who, this is my post, I shall not abandon it.
Right.
You will have the lone EMT who's driving the ambulance and trying to save the person in the back, going to a hospital that has no staff, right? And they will continue to do that until they run themselves into the ground, or the vehicle runs out of gas and they can't put more in it. There's two sides to that coin, and I think in a true SHTF, we will see both of them. We will see the guy who just won't quit, and the people who just walk away because, well, I don't need that paycheck no more. I got to go take care of mine.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That's
but
true.
Great point, Livingston, man. Thank you for jarring that in the old dome piece here. Appreciate
I think, and to your point, and as well as Pete's is, even though they might walk away, it's like they still won't walk away from the skill, the lifestyle, the whatever it was that
100%.
So even wherever they go and bring that, they still have it.
Yep.
And that's where the seeds of a new thing is the people that know how to do stuff and make the whole thing work. The rule of law, as Mike puts it, which I'm almost starting to lean into calling it just order as we think of it, is based on the machine, the cogs in the machine, as with as little disrespect I mean to that, but it's the little things that make the whole thing work, and they won't just disappear. But perhaps what they'll do is choose to apply it to something new and something different that maybe works better for everybody.
Okay. And with that, now I'm going to throw a wrench in the cog.
Send it.
Oop.
If there is a massive, and I'm doing air quotes for those listening, massive attack, whether it's a cyber attack, you name it, physical, kinetic attack, what do the people do? What will the country look like when our commander-in-chief issues martial law?
Ooh. So interesting. I went down this rabbit hole when I drafted the book. And there's two steps that have to happen. First, the president has to declare, because I wanted to make sure I got it right. He has to declare a state of emergency, which he's done. And he says, okay, we have an emergency. He cannot put martial law in place until then the second step is the Insurrection Act. But believe it or not, there's a caveat. He or the vice president, if the president is incapacitated, I went down this for about 2 days. So if the president or the vice president, whoever it is, they then have to tell whoever's attacking us to surrender and cease and desist. That's required. Now, whether they give them 2 hours or 2 days is different. Obviously,
Trump just say that shit at 2 a.m. on Truth Social. And
Of course.
That's exactly it.
Surrender now.
He can say surrender now. And
Wake up
then
the next morning
10
like
o'clock
shit
in the morning saying they didn't listen. At which point he can then declare the Insurrection Act. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound right, because if it's a foreign, like terrorists, Al-Qaeda, they're not Americans, so it's not an insurrection. Technically it is if they're in the U.S. and they're impeding the peace of America. They have created a foreign insurrection. I didn't know this.
America
And so it would be 2 steps required.
To a foreign insurrection.
Believe it or not, that's the
Declaring
way
war in the United States is considered a foreign insurrection, as if no sane government would do that. Do you hear what he kind of just said there?
Well, but the thing is, they have
This
to
cannot be allowed, not on our Earth. Well,
not on our planet or not on our country.
I mean, listen, I'm here for it. I'm fucking an American, okay? I'm like, yo, bring them guns. Bring them guns. But I'm also hearing how we might sound to like the rest of the world with like language like that.
Well, but
you disagreed with us, we bombing your ass, and you know what? You're gonna like it.
oh, well, we can bomb the shit out of like Iran in the meantime. Like the president can go and bomb the crap out of someone else, but the people here who are attacking us, they would say, you must surrender in the next 3 hours, or we'll. And then they'll just say, okay, you didn't surrender, screw you.
Now, I'm
lose.
going to give respect to like some radical, like, yes, nothing to lose faction, like a 10% chance that somebody like just DAGF, like does not give a fuck.
YOLO terrorist, yeah.
Okay, but otherwise, like the way modern geopolitics works, like we always look at these as like there's a deeper agenda. There's a false flag here. It's a Kansas City shuffle. Look over here. Well, we do this, and you got to temper the idea that with that a kinetic strike on the United States is, besides like insane and practically suicide for any group or nation, it's practically impossible. How? So you have to turn to fifth columnists.
Right.
These would be sleeper cells is the new term for the same thing. Fifth columns meant all the way back in the Spanish Civil War, They asked the guy, how are you going to take the city? He's like, I'm going to use 4 columns from outside, and I have one column
inside. Yep. That's a Hemingway reference. That's hell yeah.
Fifth columnist is what we now think of as sleeper cells, but the same idea. They're already here. They're going to just get the beeper's going to go off, and they're going to go ape shit. Maybe. Okay, but
No.
Okay. A kinetic strike is impossible. What are you going to do? An amphibious invasion? Okay.
No. I think the biggest fear.
A fifth column sleeper cell strategy, or an overt terrorist or non-state actor attack is the only way you could possibly inflict damage on the United States. And I am a guy sitting in Livingston, New York, drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon on a YouTube channel right now, and I have figured this out. Trust that our government knows this too, and that those threats are actually mitigated in ways that we're not allowed to know about. So if such a thing were to happen, I actually consider it highly unlikely, and if it were to happen, it would be very suspicious.
So, martial law. I just did a little research, and the numbers are in. Total military for the United States, plus the Guard, plus the reserves, 205 to 201 million people.
Yep.
What?
205 to 200 or 2.05 to 2.1 million uniformed personnel. Sorry, thank you, Livingston man. No hundred. 2 million active dudes and men and women in camouflage with machine guns.
Here in our country.
That's what we have. Active duty plus the Guard plus reserves. 2.1 million uniformed personnel. That's what the United States has to offer. Now, I'll tell you right now, probably 50,000 of them, if they declared martial law, would have to sit on boats outside the U.S. to form a blockade around both coastline to make sure that nobody came in while we had some internal conflict going on. So all that stuff that's overseas right now would come park itself off the coast to make sure nobody FAFOs.
Right.
So 50,000 people are going to be offshore. The rest isn't even enough to lock down New York City. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
So martial law, it would have to be you hear about these a lot, these public-private partnerships, right? That's state and federal working together, hand in hand. You'll see a lot of activation of those things, right? The public-private partnerships. It's going to be like 2 National Guard guys and 4 county deputy sheriffs, or potentially deputized corrections officers and things like that. We've seen that happen during 9/11 here in New York State. They deputized the corrections officers to go and guard the New York City water supply, which is reservoirs all over here in the mountains. And they had big concerns about attacks on the water supply for New York City. So COs actually patrolled with shotguns the woods around the reservoirs up here for a very, very long time. They would work their regular shifts and then have to go pull duty at one of these reservoirs and walk around the reservoirs and report anything suspicious back. You can actually fish in these reservoirs, and there are boats chained up along these reservoirs everywhere. So a great place to hide stuff just underneath a boat.
Well, they're all just in the comments. You got to consider the inactive reserve in your count.
Yep.
That is the reserves. That's the active plus the Guard plus the reserves. 200 or 100, 2 million people.
IRRs or whatever they call it. The
IRR.
Yeah.
Inactive Ready Reserve. They can be recalled.
That's active duty Guard plus active duty is 1.3 million. Guard plus the reserves is like 765,000. So that brings us to 2,100,000 uniformed personnel.
To Robert Ham's point, GWAT and Desert Storm, it's about 5 million. The GWAT and Desert Storm vets, because there's a bit of overlap. A lot of guys did Desert Storm as
And
a
then
young
got
soldier,
into-
and then they
yeah.
were like a sergeant or a lieutenant, and got dragged into Iraq and Afghanistan later. But they're about five. So there's actually more veterans out there than active duty at the moment.
Right.
But there's not a lot of military to go around.
Right. I was going to ask you, what is the ratio of military to civilians?
Well, we're 345 million people. So less than 1%.
Yeah, I mean, if you round it off,
imagine if that's a prison, and the military are the guards.
There's not enough guards, and there's way too many freaking inmates, Livingston, man. That's asking to be overrun, especially when some of those inmates are the enemy and actively seeking to do that very few people harm.
You bring up an important point.
Can we count the U.S. military out to? I wouldn't count them out to protect us, but I would count them out to try to subjugate us, if that was their order.
Yeah, I think folks need to remember, one, that the military is us, right? We are the military. U.S. citizens are the military. Some will follow orders. Some will disobey and go AWOL and say, this isn't right, I'm not doing it. So it's going to be even harder for them to gain control on anything. I think in small pockets like Boston, right? They could lock down Boston, no problem. But we've seen them do it. We've seen them do it without the military, right? Small numbers of people went in there and they combed that place until they found who they were looking for. Yeah. And nothing got in their way. Your front door didn't matter. The people in your house didn't matter. They were coming in and they were walking through your house and they were searching, and the only thing that they were looking for was one particular person, and everybody was okay with it, even if they weren't, because of what had just happened.
I think a draft won't work, Robert Ham. Please, people don't respond. People don't pay their bills. You think they're going to even open that piece of mail? Like, get the fuck out of here. Or you're just asking for even worse trouble. You want a real fifth column? Pull a draft off, and now the enemy is allowed to join you. Bad idea. Not even allowed, but made to join you.
There's a flip side to the coin too. Is we don't have enough military necessarily. They can control certain areas, but by the flip side, if we were in some kind of catastrophe, at least during like Hurricane Harvey, and this was a very regional, localized incident, hospitals, shelters, water treatment plants, grid, food supply, and PODs, points of distribution, and that was it. Like the guard didn't have the capacity to go street by street. They would do sweeps, but they couldn't stay out there. The local cops had to, and they were thin too because their houses were in the affected area. The military would focus on certain safe zones or certain areas and say, we're going to control Houston, we're going to control Cincinnati, Ohio, we're going to control, Queens, and Brooklyn and the Bronx is left to its feral self. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They just don't have capacity.
And that's when you will see and hear the L&T truck coming through playing the Ice Cream Man music.
Mr. Softy song.
Yeah, baby.
Door open. Exactly. And you just, toss them in, and we just keep driving. Yeah.
We've had a couple of road sodas, so I mean, we're not doing the straight line thing. But hey, what are you gonna do? Call the cops, bro. This is the apocalypse, idiot. Maybe don't stand in the road.
Yeah.
Oh, true story. William, I saw your message. I don't have the 800 phone hooked up to have anybody call into the stream tonight.
I can't wait to drive the meat truck. There are perks, and that's the place you got to not find yourself.
Yeah.
There's a part of us that wants to be proven right. Want to be like, you know what? That's why I bought the beans. That's why I got the things. That's why I did it. It's why I knew it. I was right. I knew it. But careful what you're cheering for, because what you're cheering for is what somebody called it, like, so it was like a Hawaiian word, the end of the world as we know it, but they
Tiawaki.
yeah, I thought that was some Hawaiian goddess. I looked it up real
No.
quick.
Tiawaki is the end of the world as we know it.
Well, listen, I was fitting to worship that bitch. I knew nothing about her. So,
Well, I think the world as we knew it has
not
already
Moana.
ended. It's already ended.
Yeah, it's already ended. Yes.
is it as we know it, or as
The world as the end of the world as we know it.
We know it.
Yeah,
It's gotta-
that's
is it
already
no or new? Is it past or present tense? I mean, that's a good question.
present tense.
President.
Present tense. And Pete, I think you're 100% right, bro. I think the major focus for the military in a martial law scenario is preservation of the cities, right? They want to control the mass populations as much as possible, at least fence them in so they can control who comes in and who goes, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a minimized harm, and certain areas are just like
Yeah,
Can't
they're
help people.
they're gonna stick to choke points and surveillance, right? We all know that we've been building the biggest surveillance state in the world, something to rival China. So it's happening, man. It's happening right before our eyes. We're putting the cameras in. They're putting the cameras in. They're just gaining access to everything because, well, we can't do that ourselves, but we can buy all that information from these third parties.
Correct. And
Listen,
if you
know,
don't believe me, do your research on Palantir.
Yeah. And Ring. Ring, whoever made that Super Bowl commercial for the Ring cameras where they told you that, like, basically they have already been hijacking people's cameras and using them without their permission to look for lost dogs. Whoever made that commercial is not a propagandist. That person is a fucking whistleblower.
Yes.
They tried to show, they were like,
disguised as a salesperson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
no, they were like, listen, I hope you guys understand that I have to hide this in a Super Bowl commercial, but look what they're doing.
Yep.
Well, look at the kidnapping of
Guthrie.
Guthrie.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, the camera didn't get set off, and then they pull
The
like
video
footage from between the camera activations, and we're able to conjure the guy's picture.
Mhm.
People are like,
they didn't
oh,
conjure anything. They just looked it up because
They
those
looked it
things,
up.
it was there.
listen, the reason they need data centers and the reason they need so many is because our devices are super high resolution. This is a 4K camera, 30 frames a second. This video, if we each recorded it, would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 128 gigabytes.
Right.
If we recorded it in 4K, right?
1 gig.
Then you go to upload that to your storage, right? Your little disk on your card's only 128 gigabytes, so you can't even put it on there. And that's why they need all this stuff, because they are storing everything, compiling everything.
So they can play you back for you at your trial and say,
There it is. There it is. You said it.
Is
You
that
said
not
it.
you? No, that's
That
not
was
me.
easy.
that is AI. Is what that is.
Right.
Hunter, and you hit the nail on the head. I do believe that what we got was a list of names in his email inbox. If the name was typed in there, that name went on the list, right? It didn't matter. They're like, well, Trump's mentioned in there more times than anybody else. Well, yeah, he talked a lot of shit about the dude in his email. So every time he typed in TRUMP, it flagged it as another thing, and it wasn't necessarily correspondence with the person. It was solely him mentioning his name in conversation.
Yep.
Valid argument.
They are
but-
totally playing the numbers, and I don't really care, bro. I have a black hood and a wood chipper that is fucking hungry.
And I got gasoline for years.
Man, we've got
That
100,000
was easy.
acres of desert and backhoes.
Yep.
Man,
You guys
we don't
understand-
even need to make fire.
I was thinking about justice, and I was thinking about how, because one of your rights, whichever one it is you have a right to a speedy trial, whatever that
No.
means, by jury of your peers.
Yeah.
But now, and I think that they almost have to violate that right these days, because how can you get a speedy trial by an impartial jury today where everybody knows everything instantly?
And everybody's polarized.
And how can you sit in a courtroom and blatantly declare you ain't never heard of Jeffrey Epstein, you ain't never heard of Luigi Mangione, you ain't never heard of fucking this one out? That's fucking just a lie. And by having simply knowing about them, you were exposed to a source of information, and your impartiality is automatically suspect. It has to be. And I question how. And this is why. They have to violate your right to a speedy trial to actually give you a fair one. What they do is make you wait 3, 5, 10 years until, like, and Americans, we only remember what happened yesterday anyway. So if you delay the whole thing by 2 or 3 years, you might actually get an impartial jury because they didn't read the fucking big loud headlines 2 weeks ago and are still pissed about it. It's a weird system. The court of public is very strong, and the actual court of rule of law has to fucking tap dance around it.
Where do we go from here? How do we as Americans right this ship?
During rule without law.
At the community level.
Get on the truck and put you on it.
Yes.
You can affect your sheriff. You can affect your county judge, your local mayor. You may not move the needle in New York City or Chicago, but out here, in my little city in Texas, you could win an election with an extra 50 votes. A solid little win. And put someone valuable. My wife's a member of a group of small business owners. It's all ladies. And 3 of them said, we don't like what our school district is teaching, because they were trying to endorse the masculine type in the feminine locker room. And 4 women ran for the 7 seats in the school board at the same time, and all won.
Awesome.
That's
how you affect change. You're absolutely right.
That's local level, and they won by a large margin. Like, it wasn't, they won by 20 votes. No, they swept by double digits, every single one of them in their seat. And it's like, that's how, and then that affected the county next to it. And guess what? Now that's a voting district. So the House of Representatives guy was now paying attention to those ladies. And it starts from the bottom up, but you got to be on it. And they count on a lot of us just not having the time, because we can barely pay our bills most days. Or our friends are losing their jobs.
It's illegal for your employer to tell you can't go vote, just so everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah, that is.
They will tell you all kinds of bullshit, but I'm telling you, who would never tell you bullshit, that you are absolutely, as your one of your first rights as an American citizen, is that you can tell your employer, no, I'm going to vote. Whether it's up to you, I'll be back or whatever, but never be like, I would have done that shit, but I had to work. Don't deny yourself your own rights. They kind of count on doing that.
They do.
Yep, that is true.
But you affect the local, and it does move up.
That's a big one, especially in the schools, man. That's the future. That's the kids. That's the real important stuff.
I came home and my wife was like doing a happy dance in the kitchen, and I'm like, "It's 4 p.m, girl. Were you drinking margaritas already?" And she's like, "No, the girls won." And
she got all 4 boss girls together, and this is the thing: is that, again, here we see, like, you know what they did? They organized, got behind a common goal, and accomplished it.
Yes,
okay,
100%.
Stop being such a lone wolf. Community is what makes things happen.
Yes.
And when you want to piss and moan that your side didn't win the election because you had to work, well, then think about what the actual problem there was. Show up and do something about it. You.
Listen, even Hillary Clinton will tell you it takes a village.
Fair.
That
Fair
was
point.
easy.
She'll also tell you, what does it matter? Brings me to my next point. Just to be like that is this that our attorney general, that performance she gave is worthy of an Oscar the other day. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but I felt like that was like the same shit. She had real Benghazi, what does it matter energy at that hearing, and it disgusted me, and I'm just going to say that.
So there's something that's going to come out of this. Either we show the entire world that we have a two-tiered justice system, or we don't have a two-tiered justice system, and Livingston Man gets another square on the apocalypse bingo card.
Yep.
One of those two things should happen in the next 365 days.
To Livingston's point, let it collapse if that's what it takes. I heard what you said.
That's right. Expose them all.
If it's that evil, it needs to come down anyway, and it's going to come down by law, or it's going to come down by the sword. But at some point, it's going to come down.
And how is this not the thing that has united us, as we were talking about earlier? How is this not the thing?
I'm seeing it all over social media. People are losing their mind, but not on YouTube. I'm seeing it on the other.
It's because people tiptoe on YouTube because there's a lot at stake over here, right? Your voice, your subscribers. I mean, we've all busted our asses to get to where we are on YouTube, and it's a lot of work to get here, and to have all that yanked away from you, it really pulled the rug out from under your feet. Yeah. And let's face it, where else on the internet can you be exposed to like 6 billion people in a click, and at least have a chance to bust through the algorithm? And the only thing, honestly, that it takes for that to happen is if everybody in here in the chat shared this out, not just on YouTube, but on your social media, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your wherever it is that you go. If you shared this, that's how things get a chance to go viral. You have to share for the message to get out. And I've been trying to do a lot more of that myself, is share other people's content, and the people that I enjoy listening to, the people that I respect, the people that I watch, share out their content and help them grow as much as possible.
I'm just going to say this while I'm hot to your point. And I understand exactly what you're saying for you guys that have built a following and have done a lot of work at this. Personally, in real life, and I fucking mean this, I would rather say something that was deemed so dangerous and truthful that I lost my voice for it than to speak with a false voice and say something I didn't mean with no disrespect.
Yep, I agree.
That's me in real life too. I will say the thing that everyone is thinking, and I don't care. Someone had to. I will never say some shit that I was supposed to say. In fact, I will do the opposite. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I do that. That's me. I don't do that. If capri pants are cool, I'm not wearing those until they're not cool anymore. All right. I don't care.
You should never wear capri.
I was going to say, please never wear these.
None of the four men
cool, bro.
Let
it go. Let him go, bro. Let him go.
Please. Like,
we'll take him to one of the bins down the road or something, bro. No capri, please.
Bernie and Ertz.
No capri pants.
Yeah, that's something Bernie and Ertz would wear.
Societal
Bernie and Ertz wear.
Societal trend. I simply will not do the say the line, shill. I just won't. I hate it.
God.
And I don't know which one of us is which. I'm pretty sure I'm Bernie. I'm pretty sure Mike is Ert.
Bernie and Ert.
Ert and Bernie.
Put it to the chat.
I agree with you 100%, Livingston, man. I am not one to. I kind of want to look through it. I want to digest it a little bit and then let my feelings kind of sulk on it and see how I feel, instead of the knee jerk reaction. And you'd be surprised if you don't trick yourself into thinking a certain way right off the rip, right? These these things that are designed to have emotional responses in you are designed to help mold you. So it's important to try and pull your emotions out of it, right? Look, just read the words on the paper. They are just words. There's no feelings or anything.
I have AI for that. I am a human and I am allowed to fucking feel.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. But when you read the words off the papers or off the screen, it's sometimes, or hear them out of somebody's mouth, it's hard not to invoke an emotional response. And it's self-control, honestly, and just trying to compartmentalize this shit, because some of the shit that's coming out of people, man, it's like, I'm done. I'm ready to be the hermit on the hill, you know?
Yep.
Because the more I see of society and humanity, the less I want to be involved with it.
Yep, exactly.
That would make you the perfect person to serve on a jury.
Yeah, you just disconnect, unplug from everything. Like, I don't watch the news.
That's the only way to achieve impartiality. How could you otherwise? Like, yeah. So everybody become hermits in the woods and we can actually start acting right. I like it.
Gentlemen, we have blown past our time.
Damn.
But that's okay.
That
Because
was easy.
we are the four horsemen. You never know when we show up, and you never know when we leave, if we leave.
We're here for a long time, not a good time.
Provocative conversation. Everybody
As always.
in the chat, as always. Everybody in the chat chimed in. If you didn't, that's okay too. Because the four horsemen will ride with you or without you. And on that note, Livingston, man, give us something profound to sleep on tonight.
All right. And this is a really divisive topic, and people get really on the fence about it. It's something that all of us do, like every day. It's a universal ritual in human activity. But there's two kinds of people. As there always is, we got to draw a line down the middle of it. And you know what I'm talking about. It should be called teeth paste, and we all know it, but refuse to admit. Toothpaste, what do you got, just one? Just brushing the one? Teeth paste. But no, we can't we can't upend the system. We can't fight against what we know is wrong. Of course not. Tradition. We need familiarity. We need stability. We can't call it what it actually is. We just call it what it's called.
There you have it, folks. Whether you understood it or not, that's what he said.
That shit either made mad sense or no sense, and there's no in between.
There it is. Folks, thank you for joining us tonight. As always, the four horsemen will always be the four horsemen. Keep prepping, keep praying, keep practicing, stay frosty,
Yes.
and always stay strapped. Gentlemen, thank you. Everybody, have a great evening.
And don't put your mouth on it, ever.
Never put your mouth.
That was easy.